Chapter 41, 600 miles off the mid-Atlantic seaboard. Chris Mackey radioed back to the carrier, a slight edge to his voice. Hey, Chief, how are we doing on those KC-10s? I'm getting a little low and I got a headwind killing my fuel economy. It's a little cold for swimming and I'm too low to get back to you or make it to the coast. Archer was calm on his end of the phone. We didn't forget about you. You have a KC-10A extender on the way to your location as we speak. They're coming out of McGuire and should be to your location within an hour. Okay, boss, thanks, but tell them to hurry. I don't have much longer than that. Give me their heading or frequency and I'll start heading in their direction. Roger that. Hold, Shadow 1, and I'll patch you through to the KC. The line went quiet for about 5 minutes when Archer came back. There was static in the background. Shadow 1, this line is no longer encrypted. Do you copy? Roger, base, over. Shadow 1, I have a KC on the line for you. Go ahead, KC. The KC-10A extender pilot spoke up, his line not quite as clear as Archer's. Shadow 1, this is KC-10 Topper. Do you copy? Copy, Topper. We need your position and heading, and we'll head toward you. Situation's getting critical. Copy that, Shadow 1. We're heading to you at maximum speed with a nice long drink. Sorry we're late, but this lovely weather is causing some problems. The KC-10 and the de Havilland exchanged locations and headings and coordinated their refueling location. The KC-10 was making more than 600 knots, even in the storm, which seemed to be subsiding. While it was going to be more stressful than usual, they would arrive before the de Havilland ran out of fuel. On board the de Havilland, Still and Holohan were working together the same way they had for 20 years. Each knew what the other was going to say before he said it, which is why they had been chosen for this mission. They scanned the grid as quickly but as carefully as they could. So far, they had checked out more than 20 ships and gone so far as to contact the ship's captains, claiming to be another ship, to verify the name of the vessel and cross-check it against their computerized tracking system of who was out there on the water. In the back of the aircraft, T was working with another crew to track the three Kings on their radar. The first ship was the closest to their position. It was a Kuwaiti supertanker, which, according to some research, was called the Star King. They had radioed the information on the Star King back to the aircraft carrier, where they in turn checked the information through Langley's computers. As it turned out, the Star King was indeed bound for the United States from the Kuwaiti oil fields, with 2 million gallons of crude oil on board. They verified the dates, point of debarkation, destination, course, etc., until they were comfortable that it was just another traveling gas can. Archer's crews radioed back to the aircraft and confirmed that all was as it should be with the Kuwaiti vessel. T continued working to check the other two ships with King in the name. There were two, the Crescent King and the King Abha. Both were Saudi tankers and were traveling on the same course to the United States. It seemed unlikely that one of these was their target, since they appeared to be traveling together, but they began checking them anyway. T had given the names, locations, and headings to Mackey, who forwarded the information to Langley. They went through the same procedure as before, but with different results. Archer called back to Mackey as soon as he received the call from Langley. Shadow 1, this is base. We have a situation here. King Abha is Saudi registered, 1.3 million gallons of crude out of the Gulf. Everything checks out there, but the other ship doesn't appear to come from anywhere. It's registered as a Saudi vessel, but we can't trace it back to any place. According to our research, it hasn't been in service for 2 years. Langley's checking, and I'll advise. How far are you from that location? Boss, if that KC doesn't show up soon, we are forever from that location. That ship is directly behind us, almost 180 degrees, by almost 200 miles. If I turn around and head away from the KC-10, we may give them a bird's-eye view of us crashing into the ocean. Archer rubbed his temples. Shadow 1, look, this is your call. Stay on location and refuel, then find that ship. Try not to make it obvious that you're checking them out in case they are in range of the coast. I don't want to tip them off and encourage them to fire the missile. We'll continue to try to track from here. I have F-14s heading to that location, but they're still pretty far out, even at supersonic. They'll require refueling as well. I can call in air support from the coast, but that'll take more than an hour as well. You're the closest, maybe 25 minutes out. There was a brief pause. Then Mackey's voice came back. Give me 3 minutes, over and out. Mackey left his co-pilot on course, but slowed to just over stall speed. He walked back into the cabin where men were working frantically. Listen up, he screamed to his crew. We're 20 minutes out from our possible target. We can't confirm the target until we get there. The tanker's coming from the opposite direction. If we go after the target, we may run out of fuel, especially if we get there at top speed. If we don't go, it'll take the fighters more than an hour to get there, and the ship may be close enough to fire the missile. There are a few possible outcomes here, gentlemen. We go, and it turns out to be nothing, and we all go swimming for no reason. We go, and it is the target, and you're all just as dead, but at least we prevent the attack. Or we wait for refueling and go as fast as we can. I'm responsible for the safety of this aircraft and its personnel, and I will not fly this mission unless it is unanimous, gentlemen. Take a second to decide, but it's all go or no go. Understand, if we go, you're buying a one-way ticket. Chances are no one will ever know about it either, so if you're planning on being a headline hero, forget it. I'll give you a minute. He hopped back into the cockpit to relay his conversation to his co-pilot. The men in the back exchanged glances. Holohan smiled and leaned back in his chair to see the crewman in the back. Still looked at Holohan thoughtfully, then at the crew. "Time's a-wastin', fellas," Still shouted. "If we're gonna burn fuel, let's do it wasting these terrorists." The crew in the back gave all thumbs-up signs and nervous smiles. They may have been scared, they may have been thinking about home, but no one said a word. Mackie stuck his head back into the cabin. He found every man staring back at him with a thumbs-up signal. One of the men in the back yelled out, "Let's roll!" It was his personal tribute to another hero on another plane, the one on 9/11. Mackie didn't say a word, just jumped back into his chair and hit the mic to call Archer on the carrier. "Shadow 1 to base, come in," he called. Archer replied right away. "This is base, over. We are changing course to possible target ship. We have coordinates locked and will be on station in 20 minutes. We'll radio all information and give you live feed from whatever we see or hear. Please dispatch nearest rescue vessels to that location. We will not have enough fuel. Co-pilot is radioing the KC for new rendezvous location, but that may be wishful thinking. I hope to hell this is our boat, boss. Over and out." Archer said, "Me too," to himself. He felt suddenly choked up. "Godspeed, Shadow 1. We'll be watching."